right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the consolation game of the 2015 Bob Abrahamson Tip-Off Classic. This first game pits the Otter Valley Otters versus the Twin Valley Wildcats. Joining me, as always, is Hall of Fame coach Wade Mitchell.
Yep.
And I'd like to announce the starting lineups for the Otter Valley Otters. Starters will be Josh Letourneau, Dylan Mackey, Derek Ains, McGregor Shannon, and Tyler Peterson. For the Twin Valley Wildcats, it'll be Justin Hicks, Kyle Murdoch, Skylar Boyd, Brett Swanson, and DJ Lazelle. And Wade, I wonder, having watched two amazing games last night, what do you think we can expect from the Otters tonight?
Well, it's pretty simple. They're going to run up against the biggest club they're going to face all year. They've got to make their threes. They can't turn the ball over. I think they can press their guards. I don't think Twin Valley's guards are that strong. I'd like to see some trapping out there in the backcourt. I don't think Twin Valley has a deep bench. So the 3 points, trapping, and not turning the ball over, those are the keys for the Otters.
Well, and interestingly enough, my sense is that for the Wildcats, they will attempt to do exactly what they did last night, which is play to their strength. They've got to rebound and keep the Otters from running the ball. They've got to run them off the three-point line and don't allow Derek Ains to get hot like he did in the last game.
Yep.
If they can make it a half-court game, get the ball inside and slow it down, if they can force them off that three-point line and force them to the middle where their strength is, the Otters are going to have some trouble scoring, and that is probably what's going to keep them in the game.
It was interesting to read in the paper today that it's exactly what the MSA coach said they tried to do last night, is slow them down. They scouted them against Mill River, and playing in a half-court game is what they planned on doing, and it worked. Eventually it worked.
Yeah, the first half, there were 106 points scored last night, and with a 53-53 tie, so I guess it worked.
Yeah.
It didn't slow anybody down, but nobody was losing at that point.
Tonight's consolation game features the Otter Valley Union High School Otters and the Twin Valley Union High School Wildcats. First, the starting lines for Otter Valley. Number 0, Josh Letourneau. Number 2, Dylan Mackey. Number 3, Derek Ains. Number 14, Rebecca Shannon. Number 42, Tyler Peterson. Otter Valley is coached by Greg Hughes and assisted by Michael Scott and Keith Schneider. Now the starting lines for the Twin Valley Wildcats. Number 13, Justin Hicks. Number 20, Kyle Murdoch. Number 21, Skylar Boyd. Number 24, Brett Swanson. Number 25, DJ Lazelle. Twin Valley is coached by Chris Brown, assisted by James Anderson and Nate Sebi. Now could you all please rise with your hats for playing the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming
after a close loss to MSJ last night in Twin Valley, coming here on a last-second loss to the Proctor Phantoms. We'll see how see if the tempo can be controlled by Twin Valley, and we'll see if the Otter Valley Otters can get out and run.
Interesting, with the shorter of the four big boys, the Twin Valley jump center.
That's true.
He does get up.
I guess we can see why. Twin Valley trying to work inside. We get our first foul. Fouls on number 3, Derek Ains. And there goes Twin Valley inside. Got to hit those easy ones. Oh, there's Lazelle on the boards. Long shot off the mark by Otter Valley, and Twin Valley makes it up the court. Got a foul on the drive. Fouls on 14, McGregor Shannon. His first. Errant pass run down by Lazelle. He's a lefty. Ball inside. Boy, they have an enormous height advantage.
He does jump.
Step on him.
Now why he jumps center. The swings in those legs.
I bet you every Otter is outsized by, it seems like, a full head. Walk called on the play, and still no score with a minute gone in the first quarter. Freshman Dylan Mackey had an excellent game last night, bringing the ball up.
You notice who they've got guarding names, don't you?
Absolutely.
The springs in the leg guy.
Well,
little opening game jitters, both teams. This is what I figured Otter Valley would do.
Little pressure, try to speed up the game. The Wildcats have had the opportunity to get the ball inside a couple of times. They just haven't been able to convert. And they ought to convert on that one. That was pretty open. And,
beautiful set play.
Number 24, Brett Swanson, scores first hoop for the Wildcats. 2 minutes into the first quarter. Off the mark, and following the rebounding action. That's number 25, DJ Lazelle, and back come the Otters. I think you'd probably have to say for the first couple of minutes, the Wildcats have the game at their pace. Otters haven't been able to get out and run.
Around town today, I heard quite a lot of talk about they thought Peterson should have played more for the Otters last night's game.
And there's a finish by Skylar Boyd. There's Ains on the outside. Looking for Mackey. Deep three by Ains. Rebounded by Murdoch. Outlet to Lazelle, moving the ball up the course nicely with the pass. Short jump shot from Murdoch off the mark. Lazelle with the rebound. wide open jumper off the mark. And here come the Otters. Twin Valley did a good job of getting back on defense that time. Mackey with the rebound, smallest guy on the floor.
Get out of there.
Tyler Peterson puts Otter Valley on the board. Murdoch at the foul line.
Oh my goodness, as he jumped.
He's had 4 offensive rebounds on that one play.
He had his chances to make them. Oh, does he get off the floor? I didn't realize last night he got up that high.
I remember him from prior years. He's a heck of an athlete, and he seemed kind of quiet last night.
He was.
Didn't see a lot out of him. Backdoor to Ains and pass just off the mark. Otter Valley in the press again, trying to, and I think they're not necessarily going for steals. They're just trying to speed up the game.
Yep.
Put Lozelle in the middle, and he basically boxes out his opponent at half court to beat that press. Skylar Boyd that time, and Lozelle with the pretty inside move. That's Dylan Mackey's nice move, spinning it off the glass for 2, bringing Otter Valley to within 2. Boy, he got all the way to the hoop and did the hard part and couldn't finish. There's Leary off the mark. And back come the Wildcats. Good hands that time by Kai Norwood. Norwood, a lot of ball pressure out front, but they're banging that ball inside. Boy, you got to finish those.
About 5 or 6 they missed on the inside.
The Wildcats had as many points as they have rebounds. They'd be leading this game by 5. Shot outside, ties the score. 2:22 left in the first quarter, 6-6. High hands, got a hand on that one. Lozelle just misses it.
Now this is Otter Valley's type of game. We'll run them up and down the court.
They want them frantic.
Scouter.
As frantic as you can get them.
Yep. And with a weak bench that Twin Valley's got, it might work.
Now you've got Twin Valley in a man-to-man. Switched it up. Shots off from the corner. Mackey steps in front.
Mackey's only a freshman. He's going to be a good one.
Hey, if that's a sprint to that spot, that's a catch a shot. All right? Guys, we got to recognize our lane.
Violation on the Otters. I didn't catch quite what it was. High screen, and Lozelle Royals. Ball should be going to his side. To me, the matchup you're going to want to work is Lozelle on the left block, and I don't think they've seen him enough. They've been going to Murdoch down low, but he hasn't been finishing. There goes Skylar Boyd for 2.
What a ball player. He's only a junior.
Back comes Mackey. Of course, the Wildcats in the home whites. Otter Valley in the away blues. There's Norwood for three, just off the mark. Boyd with the rebound. Now that's where I think you'd like to see it. You know, what he did is he got himself too low on the block. He was down on the big block on the low, and when he turned left, he'd get himself buried behind the hoop, and then he got doubled from the high side. He's got to come up another block so that when he turns, he doesn't get himself buried in there.
The Otters inserted Colin Uger as the tallest player, so they may have to do that.
That zone is causing similar problems for Otter Valley that it similar to what it did to Proctor last night. 15 seconds left in the quarter. Almost able to jump that pass.
Otter Valley's got to put somebody on the pulse.
Well, right now they got Leary on the outside, which is not really where you want him. And there's a turnover. 1 second left. And Norwood's able to get back and prevent the layup. And we have a quarter unlike anything we saw last night, with Twin Valley leading 8-6 after the first. As of right now, it seems that Twin Valley is able to keep the Otters in check by making them play their game for the most part.
Yep. Yeah, that zone certainly does, with all that height, and Otter Valley gets a look at it, and they're not playing anybody on the post. And I think against the zone, you got to shoot somebody across, high and low, to at least keep that zone honest.
And you don't have to turn into the pressure when you've got a guy who's 8 inches taller than you and can jump out of the gym. But if you feed it in, you can play inside out. Make them respect the fact that you're going to get the ball inside on occasion.
I don't think I've seen anybody jump like Boyd in a number of years. He really gets up there.
Neither team is in any kind of foul trouble. Only one team foul on the Wildcats and 2 on Otter Valley. Of course, when I said that last night, we had a quick succession of fouls, and everybody was in the bonus with 5 minutes left in the half. Justin Hicks taking the ball into Lozelle. Lozelle wants to go left. He's got himself in a bad spot, though. Those are two good athletes playing against each other.
They sure are.
And Lozelle going left, this time able to draw the foul and get to the line. It's a third team foul on the Otters. Lozelle hits the first.
All right.
And the second. It's always good when your big men can hit the foul shots. Boy, there was an opportunity there for Lozelle to trap. Didn't do it. And coming from the weak side, I think they just discovered the inside help of Twin Valley. Nice catch.
It's an interesting matchup underneath it. Carson Larry against Boyd.
Larry with the rebound.
Oh, he's strong. Ooh, I'm not sure of that call.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Wasn't that 2 Wildcats fighting with each other?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No. Nevertheless,
we're wrong for the first time tonight. Probably won't be the last.
High screen and roll. Lozelle trying to roll down the middle. Held up. Now he's trying to go left. and dip inside. Good move, didn't finish. Here comes Norwood. Spin move, off the mark. Boyd with the...
trouble here.
Wow, you have a 2-on-1 and you take a foul line jump shot. That might not have been the best choice.
No.
Especially when you got a foot on the guy who's in front of you.
Pretty move by Colin Ujier. Nice drive down the middle.
Skylar Boyd off the mark that time. Leary running the floor. Murdoch getting ready to... No, that isn't. Yes, it is. Kyle Murdoch getting ready to check back in for the Wildcats. Norwood with the pass inside, picked off, and then commits the foul.
Happens every time. Make a bad pass and then commit the stupid foul.
Just trying to make up for the mistake and better to get back and play this fundamental D, but you see that time and time again, especially at the high school level. Heck, you see it at the professional level too.
Yeah.
You are right that Otter Valley has attempted to put pressure in the backcourt for the entire game. There's Murdoch at the top of the key. He's a good jump shooter if he gets an opening.
Their guys just do not want to shoot the ball.
Yeah, and they didn't last night. You know, honestly, I get a feeling that Twin Valley doesn't care if they win by 2 or 20. That time, Boyd going over the back.
Yep. That was just an athletic move that got him in trouble.
It's only his first foul. Again, nobody in particular foul trouble. Neither team really close to the bonus at this point. 5 minutes left. The score is 10-8. You'd have to say the Wildcats are definitely controlling the tempo. And there's Lizelle with another rebound. Nobody should underestimate the quality of this Wildcats team based upon the style that they play. They're playing consistent with what their best assets are. Getting that ball inside, and eventually they swing it and get an easy layup.
They definitely look inside.
And they'll look inside for 2 consecutive minutes if you let them throw it around outside.
Watch this. Oh! There's a couple quick ones.
Yep. 2 good athletes, and one of them stepped in and
nice to see him on the bench.
Got position. Boyd taking a seat with his second foul, and checking in is Bailey Crawford for the Wildcats. Wildcats maintaining a 12-8 lead with 4:27 left in the second quarter. Norwood on the outside with a high pick and roll. They have a lot of trouble getting to the rim with...
They sure do.
I have to say, although offensively you probably could ask for a little bit more from Lizelle at this point, he is definitely making it very difficult to get to the rim on the defensive end. Mackey on the outside, high pick and roll.
Oh, high off the backboard. Beautiful.
Brings the Otters to within 2. Wide open 3. They're daring them to shoot it again. Looked like the only one who was really shooting that 3 for the Wildcats last night was Murdoch when they pulled him out. But he's got such a size advantage in this game, he hasn't been off the block much. Mackey on the outside and shooting a wide open three-pointer. Just didn't go. Lizelle out top. Good dish to Murdoch. Murdoch is big, but he doesn't look comfortable inside. That time he was able to take the hit and put it off the glass.
Looks like he shuffles his feet a lot underneath.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem comfortable under there. It's almost like one of those kids who he grew big, but he spent a lot of time in his driveway shooting 20-footers, you know, and still feels more comfortable shooting the jump shot than he does using his considerable size inside. That extends the lead for the Wildcats to 15-10 with 2:53 left in the second quarter. And here comes Mackey, this time going right. Tyler Peterson with the shot. Cuts the lead to 3.
He impresses me. Only a junior.
Lozella at the top of the key. Of course, he wants to go left. Yeah, you can't let him get ahead of steam up, that's for sure. That was a one-dribble drive with one step. He didn't even take the second step and just floated to the backboard and laid it in. Now he's going to the line for the old-fashioned 3. Leary's coming back into the game. Peterson comes out. And dribbles it in on the soft rim. Back come the Otters.
The Otters need a hoop right here. Ames is struggling to get open.
I think they're wherever he's going, they're making sure somebody's within arm's length of him. And all he's got to do is keep working. Nice dish. Ball just off the mark. Now yesterday, Leary was able to take control of those balls off the boards. Today, he's not the biggest guy on the floor.
Nope.
It actually makes all the more impressive what Proctor did yesterday against this team. Looked like Proctor was going to run away at one point, but little by little the Wildcats crept back in, and Proctor was only able to get away with a 2-point win. But the size of this team is impressive, and they are not turning the ball over as much as you'd think. Illegal screen on Leary that time, and ball comes over to the Wildcats. I think they're in the bonus, and they failed to notice that time.
It looks that way to me.
Allows the Wildcats to come down and drain a 3, so I don't know what's better for them. Another rebound for Lozelle. You really don't want him bringing the ball up.
No.
Leary getting
another quick one.
Getting aggressive, and which you like to see. It's just that's the wrong spot on the floor to do it. They recognize it this time, and Wildcats going to the line for the 1-and-1.
We missed that 1-and-1 before. Oh yeah.
He misses the second. Back comes Mackey, trying to run. Pulls up for 3, off the mark. That's the thing that this zone will do to you, and the length of this Wildcat team puts you in a position where you get anxious, and you're going to pull up for quick shots that you wouldn't otherwise take. Following the rebounding action, apparently going against the Wildcats. Fouls on I believe it's Ethan Fox, number 23. I think he said 33, but it's 23. That's his first. 36 seconds to go in the first half. And the Wildcats have stretched out to a 10-point lead. Nice turnaround on the inside. This time by Colin Ujair. Mackey with good hands. Ball goes off the Otters, out of bounds. DJ Lozelle going back in. Murdoch going back in. 13 seconds. They're going to want to, if they can't get a quick, easy layup, they're going to try to run off this 13 seconds. Don't give Otter Valley another possession. This is the old elementary school play.
There's those feet shuffling again.
Yep. And there's Lozelle on the inside. Boy, is he tough on the boards.
Wow.
And, if he hit half those layups he missed, he'd probably have 30 points this half. But
he's got to be, 6'6" maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he's a good athlete, too. He doesn't quite jump as well as Skylar Boyd, but he can get up. Another free throw. Good for Lozelle. Lead is 9 with 3 seconds left, 23-14. See how this half closes. Deep three. Not quite. And we close the half with the score of 23-14.
Well, the fans have certainly been treated to big man basketball with Twin Valley here. They're so big. To get a layup inside, you got to get up off your feet because they're going to jam it down your throat.
We've seen enough of that in the first half of this game. Very interesting the way, everything seems to have been attempted the way that we surmised that it would going into the game. But right now, it's the Wildcats able to kind of enforce their will on this game as opposed to the will of Otter Valley, and we'll see how that goes in the second half.
They're just dominating the boards there. Hard to play against when you're 4 inches shorter than your opponent.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. We'll be back for the rest of the game, back for the second half.
Are we on? I'm not going to change a thing here as far as Otter Valley, what they have to do. Just like we said before the game. They got to make a 3. They haven't. Maybe 2. Have they made 2?
No threes this game.
No threes.
Yep, and running down the scoring from the first half, Dylan Mackey for the Otters had 4 points, Colin Ujier 4, Carson Leary 2, and Tyler Peterson 4, and that's it. For the Wildcats, Kyle Murdoch had 3, Skylar Boyd had 4, and Brett Swanson had 5. DJ Lazelle had 12 points, and they're going to have to figure out a way, the Otters are, to keep Lazelle from getting to the boards and getting to the rim. Blocked by Murdoch that time, never left his feet. That's how much size difference there is. Ball on the outside, wide open 3. It's not really the Wildcats game, and frankly, if they take those outside shots, Otters ought to be able to run. Here's Ains with his first 2.
First 2.
Ains has a little trouble keeping up with Boyd. Athletically, there's a big difference there. There's Murdoch going to the hoop. Turning the ball over, and back come the Otters. Mackey for 2. Foot on the line that time. Here comes Boyd. Swinging the ball around the outside. High screen. This time into Lazelle. Kicks it out. Swinging the ball. That's Brett Swanson on the outside with the miss, and back come the Otters. This pace is a little bit more to the liking of the Otters, though they haven't quite capitalized on it yet. Dribble and kick. Mackey on the outside, just over the fingertips of Lazelle. Ball off Twin Valley, apparently. No. Ball over to Twin Valley. My mistake. And the Otters are in a press at this point, which is something we expected to see and did see in the first half.
I'd like to see a trap right in that corner.
Nice high screen that time by Lazelle. I don't think that Coach Hughes can be, Coach Chris Brown could be particularly happy. Four jump shots in a row from beyond the arc, and they hadn't got the ball inside yet. Grab on the inside. Foul this time is on
Mackey.
Dylan Mackey. Digging down on Lazelle.
Oh!
Mackey working hard, almost had Murdoch fall on his head. That would have been unfortunate. Someone would have had to get a mop. Here comes Mackey now, 5:25 left. Apparently some blood coming from Justin Hicks.
Oh, chin job,
He's replaced in the lineup. Deep 3 that time by Josh Letourneau. The Otters are in their press. Almost, yes, there is a interception. This time, Otters again looking for that 3-pointer.
As I mentioned before the game, I really think the Otter Valley can press, and effectively.
And it's not necessarily the press itself. It just speeds up the game, and it's not the way the Wildcats want to play.
No, absolutely right.
Their mentality is to come in and slog it out, and if they can do that, well, you can see what happened. You end up with a 10-point lead at the half. Wildcats this time returning the favor with a 2-2-1 zone press. Mackey beats that right down the middle to Leary. Boy, that press was not worth the time to stand there. Watch it fail.
There's a travel. Watch this.
Norwood with the ball now. Another turnover by the Wildcats. Ains for 3. That's his second shot of this half. And just like that, 4 minutes left.
Tie ball game.
You know, I could feel that coming only because the Wildcats came out of the halftime and they shot 4 consecutive jump shots.
Yep.
Not one look inside. And that was saying to me that perhaps the guards were saying, geez, you know, we didn't get our shots in the first half, so we're going to get a few now. Unfortunately, that puts you in some problem when you go away from your strength.
And again, the press, the others are fired up. There's no doubt about it. Diving through loose balls, and it's paying dividends for them right now. Again,
ball off to Murdoch again. You know, Wildcats are trying to attack, but that's not their game. They like to walk it up, get it in the post. And we really haven't seen that at all for the entire third quarter. Here comes Mackey. You also, I think we've seen with Otter Valley. Ball off the Wildcats to Otter Valley. Watch what Otter Valley's doing on the offensive end. In the first half, they seemed to be running an offense that was more surrounding the square, the key, and they've really spread out, trying to put some seams in that zone. Well, there was no seam in that zone.
No.
I think Lizelle blocked that with his armpit and flung it against the wall. I don't know how you fling something with an armpit, but I think I just saw it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There's Leary on the inside, little out of his range.
They'll hustle Twin Valley again.
That's that pressure on the guards that you thought might cause some problems, and it has this half. There goes Norwood all the way to the hoop. Fouls on number 13, Justin Hicks.
Hard to believe, but Otter Valley could go up right here.
You saw something similar last night.
Yep.
Except for the lead was 15 last night. Of course, that time it was the Otters who were up by 15. I guess turnabout is fair play, and Norwood's just off the mark with that first free throw.
I never could understand why anybody was taught to throw the ball in high in the air like this for shooting.
Well, it works the second time, and
right
that gives Otter Valley their first lead in quite some time. 1-pointer. Leary working incredibly hard, and Norwood on the outside. Now they got the ball on the inside to Murdoch, and he has about a now one dribble drive. Norwood comes over, attempts to block it, but that puts Lizelle on the line again. Boy, you know, if Murdoch on the inside literally would just turn his body,
yeah,
he's got to have 10 inches and 50 pounds on the guy who was covering him. He'd either be at the line or and probably shooting for 3. Lozelle dribbles in the first.
Getting back to the foul shooting, we were always taught to look right over the front of the rim. And it's worked for years. I don't know why all of a sudden you see somebody shoot the ball 20 feet in the air.
Lozelle that time with a jump shot from the outside and just off the mark. Of course, we saw Lozelle hit a three-pointer late in the game yesterday, so he does have some range if he's left alone. Have Otter Valley in a 1-4 set. Letourneau off the mark, and back come the Wildcats. Now you got Murdoch in the post, and that's now just, boy, I don't know why he does not want to turn. Nothing bad's going to happen, I guarantee you. Skylar Boyd off the mark.
Boy, look at that.
You know, and Lozelle on the inside cleaning up and finishing. You know, one of the things I think about Boyd, you have some people who out-jump their jump shots.
I know.
They get so high in the air that they lose a little bit of balance on the jump shot. It's almost as if you just take a little bit off his leap when he shoots that, or get used to shooting at that level. But when he gets up like that, he's almost off balance a little bit.
I'm sure he's had that vertical jump measured before. I'm guessing around 40 inches. And that's getting up there.
Yep, absolutely. Ains with almost a turnover.
He's struggling a little bit. There's only
hit a couple shots this half though, and helped in the big run that brought him back into this game. Turnover by Kai Norwood, and back will come the Wildcats, leading by 2 with 1:34 left in the third quarter. There's Skylar Boyd, easy pass on the inside. This time you had Norwood sitting right on the left hand. That was a charge.
Yeah.
He got him right in the chest. He was moving backwards the entire time. A little spin move there off the glass would have probably worked a little, well, definitely would have worked better than what happened.
Tried to do too much all at once.
Norwood coming out and into the game. McGregor Shannon for the Otters. That press is just causing all kinds of havoc for the Wildcats at this point. Ains, nice crossover. It's a 2, long 2. Game is tied. Now 50 seconds left. Boyd on the inside. The only guy who's going to have a chance to block that shot's playing on his team, so.
No, he's quite an athlete.
Mackey gets the ball on the outside, staring down 40 seconds and a 2-point deficit. We're going to be looking forward to an excellent fourth quarter. I can feel it. Leary with the high screen. Tyler Peterson drains the 3. I don't know if it was a 3. Yeah. No, it was a 2. And the game is tied with 19 seconds left. Ball off the mark. You know, you really want to get the last shot under those circumstances. Don't give Otter Valley a chance to take the lead after you led by 10 points going into the quarter. Nevertheless, 13 seconds left and we have a timeout.
Good point.
Kim Levins, the official, telling us it's only a 30-second timeout. Plenty of time with 13 seconds left to get the ball up court and get into a play.
Reminiscing back a few years, I had the pleasure of coaching against Kim in 1984. If you look on the banners up there, kind of a memorable year for Proctor High School girls.
That was the first state championship.
That was the first and only at that time. Kim was a 1,000-point scorer.
Deep three and 1 second left. Well, how about that? We have 3/4 of nothing. We're right where we started.
All over again.
29-29 to begin the fourth quarter. I don't expect a heck of a lot different.
I don't either.
You know, you're gonna see the Otters pressing. You're gonna see Twin Valley trying to slow the ball down and get it inside, and they don't care if they win by 1 or 2 or 10.
I feel pretty good because up until this point, my prediction's been right on the money. Press their guards and hit the three, and we can play with them.
I know that you live in Otter country, don't you? At this point,
right?
Yeah.
Do I sound like an Otter fan?
Well, when you said "we," I kind of knew you were bleeding a little bit blue over there.
Well, I actually am halfway between there and here.
that I know. You got a lot of history in this gym too. So
yeah. Many nights here.
Here meaning Proctor, of course. Of course, I being completely unbiased, sitting here looking at the Wildcats. The only thing I don't like about the Wildcats is the drive to get there.
Yep.
I didn't know you could drive 2 hours south and still be in Vermont, but apparently you can.
There's a mismatch.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. Ball on the inside to Lozelle, and that gives them their best chance.
Yep.
Now this quarter you got the Wildcats back in the zone. Did you notice during that stretch in the third quarter that the Wildcats tended to go man-to-man? I just didn't understand that. That doesn't play to their strength.
No, it doesn't.
Blocked this time on number 13, Justin Hicks. That's his second foul. Otters taking a full timeout. I think Hicks might be bleeding again. Very early in the fourth quarter, you've got Twin Valley Wildcats with a 2-point lead. Nobody's in particular foul trouble, each side with 3 team fouls.
13 is now going to be number 15. So 13 white had blood on his jersey. So he's going to remove his jersey and become number 15. So you make that change in the book.
Apparently at this point, Justin Hicks, having blood on his jersey, needs to change that. And so he will be going from number 13 to number 15. Taking no chances with blood-borne pathogens and other nasty crap that you can catch.
Boy, that's a big thing today in sports.
So here we come, Justin Hicks coming back into the game, this time as number 15. I'm sure that Dylan Howe, unfortunately, is not as happy that he came back wearing his uniform. Might portend that he might not see much time in this game. Nevertheless, as the good teammate he is, he gives up the uni, and we're back in business. Ball out of bounds this time off from Tyler Peterson on the inside.
I'm sure that his mother and father aren't here tonight, or they wouldn't allow that. If they were, they'd been on the floor by now.
Wide open on the other end.
Changing that jersey makes a
Justin
difference.
Hicks. Wide open shot just off the mark that time. Here comes Skylar Boyd. Long pass up to Murdoch. Well, you know, that's a nice move. He just started it too low, and when he turned himself behind the backboard and got himself jammed up. Lozelle, of course, cleaning up the mess, gets himself to the line. Misses the first. This is one of those games that they say, you know, you get in the fourth quarter, you hit your layups and your foul shots, and that's usually going to determine it. As it is, though, Wildcats maintain a 4-point lead. Lozelle drains the second. Wildcats with the lead sink back into that zone with a 5-point lead. And it's going to make Otter Valley take time off the clock, even if they do get a good shot. Ains deep three. Off the mark. And ball deflected by Mackey. Norwood coming back in the game for the Otters. And Josh Letourneau. Rotating those guards so they can have fresh legs for this press. Ball into Skylar. Now you have the Wildcats taking time off, getting the ball right where they like it. They can move the ball as long as they want to right now. Play catch as long as they don't want to be, and quick hands by, I think it was Norwood. Back come the Otters. Question is, can they get a shot off quick enough? Ball deflected out of that long zone. Blocked by two. Jump ball.
Otter Valley ball.
Next possession will be Wildcats, and
Hey, what's your shooter? What's your shooter?
that zone is becoming very active on the outside. They're daring them to take it to the hoop.
Get that out of that corner.
Norwood from the outside, off the mark. That zone is doing right now what it did to Proctor last night.
Exactly.
And Proctor had enough to get through it. We'll see if the Otters do. Deep pass, this time to Lozelle.
Oh, no, that's an offensive foul.
You know, if he had gone up the first time, it wouldn't have been.
Right.
But the fact that he gathered himself and used that shoulder, if he had just gone up in one fluid motion, he'd probably either be at the line or would have scored. Nevertheless, ball's over to the Otters, and it's a 34-29 lead with 5:25 left in the fourth quarter. Matching up out of this zone a little bit.
What I liked about that last call is both refs had the same call.
Kai Leonard attempting to penetrate that seam, not successful. Excellent move that time. By Colin Ujair getting around Lozelle. There haven't been many people who were able to do that. Murdoch on the inside, falling away. Boy, you know, if you're his height and size, I don't think you want him shooting fall-away jump shots in the lane. Rebound again. To the Wildcats. Ball going to be out of bounds, but it allows the Otters to set up their press. crowd counting off the time out of bounds a little quicker than the ref does.
Yeah.
Too easy, Jim, tonight.
Otters now in the man-to-man, as they should be. Lozelle on the outside. Deep three. This time he hits it. Brett Swanson, I believe that's his second three of the game. Leonard to the, I'm sorry, Norwood to the hoop. Now you got Twin Valley taking a full timeout with a 6-point lead and 3:48 left. Good game management. This is going to be tough for Otter Valley to come back from that. They're going to play. They'll probably put someone in the low post, someone in the high post, and set up triangles. Play keep away for a while until they get fouled.
I still would like to see Otter Valley set somebody up on the post, high post. Get the ball in, bring the defense to them, then dish the ball out. It's going to free up those 3-point shooters.
Well, we've been treated to some really good basketball the last couple of days.
Certainly have.
And this game is no exception. It's almost tough to say that one of these teams, it's going to be Proctor or MSJ, is going to win this tournament because any one of them could have won this tournament.
Definitely.
The one that, whatever team loses 2 in this tournament could easily have won 2 and walk away with the first place trophy.
It's certainly great that we've revved up the tournament.
Wildcats screening away. Otter Valley with the foul, which is not a bad thing. They've got to get it so they can get it in the bonus and stop the clock if they need to as these seconds tick away. Boyd on the outside, this time with a Lozelle inside. That's just too much of a mismatch.
Can't beat the height there.
Yeah, now it's an 8-point lead with 3:35 left. Norwood travels on the outside. Frankly, I didn't see it.
He anticipated the step and it wasn't there.
Right. Refs do it at every level, but you definitely see at this level that some of that goes on a little more than you would hope. It's tough when you're trying to come back and you've got to overcome calls as well.
See help! See help, Tyler! Tyler, see help!
See Murdoch on the outside is Mr. Happy Feet. Yeah. Every time he touches the ball, he does a little jig, but nobody's calling that. There's that high post.
That's what I like right there.
And Murdoch on the inside. It can make the game very easy.
Yep.
You have a good passer.
The way it was drawn up.
That length is really and ultimately what's ended up killing Otter Valley in this game. Now it's a 10-point lead.
Same thing again.
Wildcats just have to move the ball around. They really don't need to score. All they have to do is move it. Good passing, quick passing. Where's the post? Where's the triangle? There he is.
Well coached club.
Murdoch with the rebound this time, and they can take some more clock. You're going to have to get into a situation where you're going to want to put them on the line. This is a 10-point lead. Boy, all he had to do was break the plane there.
Yep.
Went back and forth. A lot of time came off the clock during that possession, however. It's a 10-point lead with 2:12 left in the fourth quarter. Wildcats over Otter Valley at this point.
Otter Valley's got to start putting the ball in the hole.
They're trying to penetrate and kick to Ains. That length at every position is problematic.
Yep.
It's not just on the inside. There's 5-6 inches on every guard too.
You can see that it's wearing the otters down. There's no doubt about it.
Well, when you repeatedly have to come back, it does take something out of you. And they know they have to hit every shot that comes their way because they're going to get killed on the boards if they don't. So.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I don't think they'll see another team like this their entire season this year.
Oh, I don't think so either.
Not with this size. They might see quicker, they might see better, but I don't know that they're going to see anybody bigger. Leary on the inside. Wow. Lozelle picked up that foul, but pretty good block right there.
You don't see the block anymore. Everything's a foul.
Leary rattles it in.
Off the backboard, around and around, in.
Hey, no matter what happens, the backboard is your friend.
Yep.
When I was coming up, they were telling you, whenever you had a chance, whenever you had an angle, use the backboard. Use the backboard anywhere 15 feet and in. And they don't teach that shot, and I'm not talking about a foul shot, obviously, but in today's game, you don't see that anymore.
No.
I think that you have much better chance using the backboard. It's actually demonstrated. If you overshoot a bank shot, it goes in. If you overshoot when you're trying to, shoot directly in, you miss it by 3 feet.
Hey, UCLA, John Wooden again. I've mentioned his name a few times. You had to bank it in, or you didn't make the team. That was a stand-in rule. Mike Lynn, who coached Leland and Gray, played for John Wooden a number of years ago, told me one night, we're having coffee downstairs here, if you didn't bank it off the board, you might as well go home, because John would take you out of the game immediately. And I agree with it.
Yeah, it absolutely is the case. It's just not something that's coached.
That's players up there for a reason.
I think really what's happened is it's the intermediate game that's gone away. It's either a three or they're going directly to the hoop, and that's why the bank shot's gone away, because there's no intermediate game anymore. Nevertheless, back to this game, and Leary at the line for his second shot. This time, directly in. No friendly backboard necessary. And Wildcats call a timeout.
Down to 8.
1:40 left. It's going to be a long road to get back. But it's possible. I've seen it in less time.
Oh, yes.
Go right back to the state championship game in Division IV boys last year.
That was incredible.
More points scored in a minute and 40 seconds than was scored in the first half of this game.
Yep.
That's the first horn. Everybody's getting ready to get back in.
Still hard to believe that game. A lot of people, myself included, said, well, we played well enough, but we didn't win. And that was with 38 seconds left or whatever.
Yeah. There were 8 more points coming after that. Otter Valley trying to foul. Foul that time on Josh Letourneau, and puts number 24 Brett Swanson at the line. Gotta hit him though. Like we say, you gotta hit your foul shots and your layups late in the game. Gives Otter Valley a breath of hope. Not a deep breath, but a breath nonetheless. Norwood on the inside, off the mark. Lozelle with what must be his 95th rebound at this point. Nice outlet. Someone's understanding what's going on.
Wild Coach Ball Club.
Foul that time on Leary. Again, I think that time, honestly, I think Kim Levins anticipated that call too.
Yeah.
But Lazelle's at the line for 2, and he hits it. Hits the first.
Just over the front of the rim and in.
Misses the second, but Murdoch gets the rebound, clears the ball. Otter Valley in trouble now. Now that was a foul. No anticipation needed.
No.
Justin Hicks will be going to the line. .106 left in the fourth. Twin Valley with a 42-33 lead. In the double bonus at this point, Hicks misses the first. Agonizing to watch as a coach. And misses the second. Ball off Leary out of bounds. Looked like it anyway. Yeah, ball off Leary out of bounds and over to the Wildcats again with 1:05 left. Ball into Murdoch. Ball security an issue. This one's like peeling a Band-Aid off. Hairs are coming one by one. Just a breath of life in Otter Valley. Mackey splits the middle. Letourneau with the deep 3 off the mark. Leary and Lizelle getting into it underneath. Ball goes over to Wildcats. Otter Valley in the press again. Here comes Schuyler. Good ball movement this time on the outside. Schuyler Boyd will be going to the line. Fouls on Derek Haynes, his third. Haynes came to life a little bit here in the second half, but wasn't ever really able to get off. Boyd off the mark. Free throws and layups.
Oh, yes.
And off the second, but again, they control the boards.
Big height.
That's really the ultimate story of this game is Otter Valley was out rebounded. I'm going to have to guess it's 3-1.
Anyways.
Hey, no foul, no foul, no.
They'll run the clock out.
That's it.
And Twin Valley will come away with a 42-33 win over a very game Otter Valley team. Otter Valley having played one heck of a game last night. And they played a good game tonight, too.
It was not bad. Normally speaking, they'll win playing like they did tonight.
And, you know, the biggest problem they had matchup problems.
Oh, yeah. They
couldn't. Height and size-wise, they had problems at every position.
Yep.
And, you know, tonight they just didn't have enough shooting to overcome it. So,
very impressive.
So with a final score of 42-33, that's the end of the consolation game for the Abrahamson Tip-Off Classic. Twin Valley Wildcats coming out on top, and we're going to take a break and come back for the second game in just a bit.